Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the Town of Grafton Select Board meeting.
I'd like to call the meeting to order Monday, July 20th, 2026, here at the Town Hall, a regular Select Board meeting. Need a motion to adopt the agenda. And are there any additions to the agenda?
Mike McConnell, who was supposed to be here for item number 4, the bids for the energy resilience program. He's not available and he would like to attend the next meeting. He had something come up tonight.
Okay,
So does that mean we're removing that from the?
Yes.
and I have, an addition, the board needs a permission, to add candidates into the November general election for, justice of the peace for the town of Grafton. I guess this is under statute 17 VSA 2680. So we need to add that under clerk and treasurer, as an item for the board to approve permission. That's all I have. Any others? If not, we have a motion to adopt the agenda, with those additions.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda, any opposed? Okay. Approve our minutes of regular meeting, July 6th, 2026.
I have a correction on number 9 about subdivision and flood regulation about the proposed fee discussion. Where it says that I felt that the fees were reasonable and they were intended to offset the services of the administrative officer. The next line should read, me felt that taxpayers should not be paying for services that they have not asked for. Services that potential new homeowners or homeowners have asked for, that the greater taxpayer should not be required to pay for those. So hopefully that the fees would help offset his salary. I think it's just a question if there's a knot missing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you get that? Sonia?
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
So that'll be corrected.
Yeah.
Any other corrections? Or missed additions? Do I have a motion to accept regular minutes of July 6th, 2026? Do I have a second?
Yes, second, sorry.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes with those corrections?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Highways, Travis.
Yes.
There you are. Hi.
Oh, man.
Come on up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
To the mic.
Mike, you need a
maybe
mic.
Suzanne can give you the seat next to her, or you can take the mic.
Yeah, so we, pulled out of the stage road, wrapped up the machine there. We're gonna get it flight to mine there, we have some grants due in September. So we moved to Kidder Hill for the first grant.
It was polite.
Yeah,
I wasn't sarcastic, I was polite.
Yeah, it was, I thought that was such a.
so that's your focus for the next couple of weeks of Kidder Hill. About 95% of our sand's been hauled in already. So we're very close to being ready in that front. And salt, I've been calling around the 2 suppliers, and we're gonna win $8 to $10 more this year between Cargill and Flashy. So I plan to get salt shed full or there.
The sand, we've already got a bill on,
Yes, yep,
so it'll be additional amount than what's on that bill.
yes, there should be a little more. Thinking eager to bill was to fall in July, haven't had again.
So this $8 to $10 more impacts the current budget,
Correct.
so I was just saying, so for the budget, we begin in October, November. For next year, we have to consider, is this stable? We have no idea if this is a stable amount of money, do we think? Okay.
Shed full and got to restart.
Okay,
But what's the total tonnage that you need?
I don't want to say it.
Okay.
We ended up breaking up back a lot last year, the shortage.
Yeah.
And we came in on there, but we ended up using that during March season.
Okay.
So.
And, can you talk a little bit about what you're gonna be doing at, Kidder Hill on the grant?
Yeah, the main stick of the project is upsizing, community culverts. One's fairly decent size, so 30-inch concrete and wall. And along with that, we have some ditching with some stone lining for them to prevent erosion.
will the road have to be closed at all?
It will temporarily be closed, and then we contact Max.
Okay, make sure.
And he won't be open until Thursday, so we can get a couple done before then.
Oh, okay.
And the mower is fixed now?
Forward space, yeah,
Okay, you said that last time, but,
yeah, going back.
okay, there was a muffler thing that you did. Oh, it was not,
That was the critter.
the grader, okay. Any other comments from the board for highway? Well, thank you.
Appreciate the weekly reports.
Yeah, they're great.
It's a good. Jim, clerk, treasurer.
One thing I have to add is everybody must be aware the tax bills went out and out of law last week. Addresses seem to be good. I've only gotten probably 3 or 4 back that didn't have an address or a proper one, so that's good. I'm hearing some good responses. I haven't heard too many negatives yet. But it's still early. Not everybody's gotten there yet, so. And the first payment is due August 17th. Office has been extremely busy. We have the professional auditors coming the 24th and 25th, I think, of August, that Monday, Tuesday. So if anybody, especially on Mondays, a lot of times Tuesdays and a day they may or may not come back. So if you want to stop in as a board member and say hello to them and introduce yourself, that would be great. Sometimes they even have questions for the board if they'd like to stop in. They might ask a couple questions of you guys. The office has been busy getting ready for the audit, the primaries. And anything else in the taxes and the tax rate and so, yeah. That's about it.
Thank you, Kim, for all you do in the office. You're busy all the time. Any questions for Kim on the board?
What is doing that?
The other item is this permission. Let's look at this. For the, JPs. You wanna elaborate on that, Kim?
So what it is the general election, which is coming up in November the 3rd. The state of Vermont is sending ballots out to every registered voter. Okay, so that's not coming from my office. So the JPs are also up for election. And in order, if we want to, as a town, we can add our JPs to the back side of the ballot for the general election. And they will also get mailed out to every single voter. And because they're being mailed to every single voter, the town needs permission from the select board. I mean, the state needs permission from the select board to be able to add them to it and gives them permission to distribute them to every registered voter. If I didn't add them to, which I can have a whole separate ballot if we wanted to. But that would mean I'd have to have a separate check-in list for the JPs and a separate check-in list for the general election. This makes it much easier and flows, and everybody's sure to get the same ballot. So the state is asking for your permission.
So question, if it's on the back of the ballot, we're gonna know to turn the ballot over.
I believe on the bottom, it usually says something about turnover.
Any comments or questions for Kim on this? So what you need is, we need a motion to accept this.
To allow the state
Allow.
to.
Well, I'll make a motion to allow the state of Vermont to print our JPs on the back side of the ballot for the general election on November 3rd, 2026.
Okay. If no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any other business for? Well, Kim. If none, we have committee reports, cemetery.
So Peter and I met, we did a follow-up, on the fence. We talked about the fence in Porterville Cemetery and also the village cemetery. Well, we brought it up before, and I think it's agreed that they need some maintenance, but we didn't really agree on how we pay for that. Do we look at moving forward this year, getting an estimate and just doing the work and adding it to the budget, or do you think we need to go through the cycle and add on to the budget for next year before we do it? So, now Peter, since we met, did a little legwork. Do you want to give the numbers or do you want me to?
Yeah, they're pretty soft. These are order of magnitude numbers. Talk about legwork, not quite so easy on the village. And there's a variety of fences right now on the perimeter. There's a variety of conditions. Some of it is in good shape, some of it not. So it's risky at this juncture without some more effort to try to wrestle with what ought to get done, what ought to be included in the scope of work to bring back to this board for budgeting purposes, depending on how you want to go ahead with it. It's a little more straightforward at Otenville, just because there's only one style that's appropriate, and if we move up the methodology from pacing, there's its limitations to something a little more precise, so you can get a stronger sense of what the cost for materials would be at least, and I'm not sure what the labor situation, how that would proceed.
The one in Holtonville, isn't it? It's not as poor as the one in the village, right? The
Well, there's
fencing,
none there. This is,
it's just
the issue here would be to add on.
go all the way around.
Yeah,
There's a new section.
yeah, it would block in the new section where there's actual opportunity for expansion.
And the fencing at the village. Is it all part of the village or is it part of the other property owners on the other side?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Kim was helpful in digging up what records exist in downstairs that even show what the property, what the image of the property is, and they're pretty raw. Very hard, to extract any data from them about where lines are. So I don't know, I mean, there's north, south, I guess the north portion, is has about 4 or 5 different kinds of fences, all of them look lousy.
Yeah,
You know, there's a whole string along, the road looks fine, and there's various conditions along the way. No exception.
When you say the road, is this the Middletown Road side? Yeah, then
Yeah,
it,
that's
that's more,
very-
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Probably do a little touch up paint
right.
on the pickets, but,
Yeah, that does look pretty good, I think.
there's a lot of, I know I took pictures probably a year and a half ago of that area, and there's a lot of undergrowth. When you mentioned maintenance, could any of that brush under some of the fencing be weed whacked? I'm just throwing that out there. You mentioned maintenance. Did you also include the brush under some of the fencing?
no, I don't think that's much of a contributor to the problem.
Okay.
What's, there are sections of the railing that, just have fallen down. I didn't get, bold enough to get down and scramble around to see if it's rotted, or it just was, you know, it looked like, but it's not that serious, to replace those, but they should be replaced. And they probably should be replaced, painted, and get on with it. It would certainly spruce things up.
We may have a survey that might be helpful for Dick and Sally's.
Yeah, I was
So
worried
if we
about that
have one
part.
of Dick and Sally's, that would kind of give some sort of an idea. I can check in the office tomorrow and see if I've got one of their property,
Is that,
maybe the one on the other side.
is that considered north or west?
West.
So I'm like, I would say that is west. Okay,
And I know she has, when I had looked at it, there was a lot of roses and brambles, so you couldn't figure out, was it on the cemetery side or her side? And yes, things were broken down, they were. you know.
So some more research.
Yeah.
But do you want to, look at getting estimates and then move forward, or are we gonna put it in the budget something? That's kind of what I wanted to get some input on.
I think it's hard not knowing what kinds of dollars we're talking about, but the last time I asked somebody to give me an estimate on the fence going around my vegetable garden, it was enough to make us not do it, so it would seem, I feel like fencing typically gets expensive. And but could we get somebody that would give a rough estimate for us to at least then decide whether this is a hold, or, I mean, are we talking $1,000? Are we talking $10,000? That's a big difference.
It's just somebody to come out.
Yeah, I mean, I think people might just make a quote if you call Springfield Fence or something, they might, I think it's called Springfield Fence. Would give you a quote with no expectation, other than here's a quote. I don't know, I just feel like it's hard to know, because if it's a lot, I don't think we should move forward until budget time.
Does the cemeteries,
But what's a lot?
do they require that they have to be fenced?
Don't think so.
And
Would we even be able to get anybody in this time of the year? We're approaching fall, I mean, as much as we hate to say that. I think we're probably gonna be looking at next year.
We might for an estimate, and then maybe that.
That's a
great idea.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get anybody this time of year.
And then we have a number that, we can plan for and see if it fits. It also brings me to another topic that ties into it a little bit. Is, I was kind of giving Peter some history that, there used to be a lot of, like work fees, right? And we've talked about volunteers with liability. But, it used to be a fairly common thing that the town would get together and they'd do a wood fee for the church or the branch. or whatever work was at hand. And I know there's a liability question. I've been needing to get the VLCT and I need to do that again. I know the Village Park, did a fair amount of work and we just did a liability release.
Right.
And so I wanted to pursue that a little bit, because I think we get some volunteers, so I would volunteer. To do some of it, we have a lot of, people in town with skills. That I don't think it would take a huge amount of time to do some of this and then bring it down to the materials. And as Peter noted for the village, some of it is painting. And if you paint it, you prevent a little bit of the, erosion of the wood, or, make it last longer and help out overall. So I will do some more research on it. I think it'd be, a path to go down to help the town, reduce the cost and build some community spirit, And my sister did follow up with me, because she went to the volunteer event in Westminster, asked if we had reached out to the Vermont Old Cemetery Association, to try to get on their calendar. They're a volunteer organization. They've been doing it since the 1960s. They know the methods and the materials that are correct to use. So I also wanted to ask, is the board good with me reaching out to them and saying, are you available? When could we get on your schedule for maybe? And I don't even know if cemetery, but I would think maybe start with the village cemetery. To do some preservation and maintenance.
Yeah, I would
I'd
agree to
support
that.
Yeah, I think that sounds cool.
I'll reach out and see what they say.
So,
Yeah, one question I had, just going back to the fences, at Houghtonville, the presumption that I had when I was looking at that today is that the section that would, the new section would wrap around, and then the placement of the new split rail fence would run along the driveway and then continue on the name of the road.
Cobble Road.
And then it would
Well,
link in some way to the forested section, so that makes sense. That is probably available for some reasonably precise estimating.
Yeah. We kind of envisioned the stone wall at the far side.
Yeah.
You would run down, so you still have the road going up the middle between the fences.
Right.
And then cross to the entrance.
Right.
So it'd be kind of an L shaped.
So we can push that
Yep.
a little bit harder. And
Yeah, exactly. Number of feet.
the idea of having a volunteer day, or you and I probably want to go wander around a little bit in the village.
And the thought was that, it's a split rail fence, on the front, that we would do the same style.
do a split rail where there's split rail. Yeah, that's easy. Especially repairing, it's fairly.
And then as Peter said, the village cemetery is kind of a bit of a mixed bag. All you got there, and that's a good point. We have to address the homeowners that on the board. And I think that's on the far end, because I don't think there's any property on the other three sides. Trying to picture them, at least two sides.
No, this side there is.
How about Francis?
No, it's not Francis, it's, well, it could be, it's, Greg and Andre,
Alright.
I think.
So there's maybe
But I
two.
haven't crawled around. Yeah, I don't know, Pete, Phil's.
And then on the Houghtonville Road side, that's a bank. Some of the fences.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see some of it, but that's a steep area.
I don't think we, I was thinking that we do kind of the accessible parts, I think as John mentioned in the meeting, the issue is that some people don't know it's part of the cemetery and they're driving on. Or they do know, which would be worse than they're driving on. But that area where cars pull in the parking area, and then the road that goes up to, the property behind the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least initially, maybe more later. And any discussion on that? I have one more.
No, go ahead.
So we did get the estimate, thank you Travis, for some temporary work. And, it varied depending on if they had a crane or not, and I think no crane for a day was 2,000.
Yes.
Yeah, so, what we had talked about is, do we want to move forward with the lowest estimate? And have them do maybe 2 days and see how far that gets us on putting up trees. Now, we wanna kind of do probably a walkthrough and understand what we wanna do. But, that would give us kind of maybe an idea. So it's the same question, do we move forward with that? And accept the costs, or do we need to add to the budget next year?
Is there any money in the cemetery budget?
I don't think
Other
we
than
have a
just,
sanitary budget, there's a fund.
well, no, but the budget just above the lawns, that's all.
Just the contract.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
think that's.
I just wanted to clarify. That's the,
500 or 1,000 for like small supplies or equipment.
Right.
Anything like that, that's it.
so there is no others, yeah.
So that's why I said for the fencing, maybe address that in September, October and start putting money away for these purposes.
I don't think that would seem the right move. To me.
Capital budget involved with this?
Now there have been some branches and trees that have fallen in, I think 1 or 2, and we've addressed those as they happen. So this would be starting to get in front of it.
Yeah.
We budgeted 1,200 for supplies in the
Cemetery
cemetery.
cost is 1,000. And I think we use something like that, just but nothing too drastic.
Yeah. And I know there is a fund, but we don't wanna exhaust it.
Exactly, unless we wanna increase our fees and kind of keep it going, but.
We also discussed that, and Peter given his report out on the last, meeting. So do you think that it will come? Kind of finish that research and come forth with a proposal on, increase? Am I missing?
I think you covered it all.
So again, we'll work on maybe some estimates and then, I'll decide how we go forward. I am pretty, interested in it. I'll contact the Vermont Cemetery Association. And I do think that there's some opportunity if we can figure out how to do it safely, to do some volunteer work.
Well, thank you, Buzz and Peter. It's a lot of work that you've done and it's much appreciated. Parks Committee?
Don't have anything. Do you, Peter?
Parks?
Nothing right now, yeah.
It's not really parks, but I did hear from Russell Record, he has mowed the fire pond. So that's all set.
Great,
Works really nice.
Okay.
It's full of those.
great. Thank you, Russell.
Well, there was an approval for the invasive species in the park. Did you know if that happened?
We got the bill done.
Yeah, it's all happened.
Should be in there.
Oh, I have somebody.
900 and something.
Yeah.
Just gonna say, we got it from Longview.
Okay,
That's happened.
all right, good.
And Anna and I did receive a photograph of some work that was done by the volunteers on water bar. Looked like a very nice, polished piece of work.
Yeah. Resolving some runoff. Am I right? That's what I thought I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
Those things can wash out pretty easily, but this look,
it did a lot of work.
it's gonna. Be there a while.
So with the invasives that they did, the one-time spray, are they gonna come back and do more, or is it just a one-time deal?
No.
I thought it was like a
That's probably
combination.
the last meeting, $900.
No,
Yeah, just what time?
You may have to follow up in the future, but.
yeah, so they always do a follow-up,
95, 98%.
Yeah, it took a while.
but that's more money if you do a follow-up.
Or it lasted a while.
personnel, we still need to meet on that section
Okay.
wording, and I've got some information
I
we can
know,
share.
I'm heading off next week for about 2.5, so.
July 2023 flood update, anything? School sustainability
Yeah, number
study.
8.
Oh, sorry. Update on fire station, sorry.
I can take that one, with Morgan's help. We've, in effort to update the fire escape project, we have met with the engineer again. We have had Septic Pro here dealing with the septic, tank and figuring out the condition of the leach field. We received a large report back, that the tank is in great shape. The concern going forward is the lifespan of the leach field. And we have been talking largely about sorting out the property borders with the abutters on both sides, but mostly on the east side, and working on how to move forward with this project so that all parties are happy with it. So we made some progress there with our next report out being the Septic Pro people or person, Adam was his name? Something like that, we're just gonna make sure we could visually, we'll see the actual parameters of the leach field, because it's hard to see, it's pretty murky, the leach field's probably pretty murky too, but where exactly it is, exactly how big it is, and it will help all parties get a better understanding of how we move forward, because the property line currently abuts the back of the building. So I've been talking with the Alexanders down below, to sort that out. So that's the final piece we're waiting for. And then we'll have a better understanding and come to a resolution so that we can move forward with the fire escape project. What we need to do as a board after these steps are completed, there are a couple of things that will eventually need to have happen. One is that we have to keep the top of the leach field clear of any rooting trees. There's an awful lot of overgrowth there, the extent to which they're rooting or not, we have to figure out, because it's quite a hike in there. It's very deep and thick. And the second thing we will have to determine as a board is which of the choices that the engineer had put together, which of those we would choose. There's sort of small, medium, and large version in terms of costs, and have trade-offs, cost and benefits in terms of accessibility and reasonableness for exit and all that stuff. So that we're getting through this first step with sorting out the septic situation anyway, and that therefore the boundaries, property boundaries. So the good news is our tank looks great. The not great news, and something we really have to think about going forward, is that the leach field will have to be replaced at some point, which is a really hard thing to determine. The language in the document said it was in the third trimester of its life, which I was not aware of. I don't know what the expected life, it's not tomorrow that it will have an issue, but within the next reasonably 2 or 3 years, but don't quote me. So we have to think about that in terms of budgeting, and that would be a capital expense, I would think.
And we also spoke about, getting permits, to do the
Yes.
future work. And we went through that too.
Right, so thank you for bringing that up, Kathy. So there would require some ditches slash holes to be dug at 3 spots around the leach field. Of course, we need to know exactly where the leach field is first, so that we do know approximately where, but we really mean where it is. And Morgan, we're pursuing that tomorrow or whatever to get them back. Because that was not clear in the report. Then there's some digging required. Ideally, it might be done with a backhoe. I had said, depending upon how we resolve the property border issues, let's look at shovels first. The ditching and the permitting, we'll go back to the neighbors before we get to ditching to get these permits for the inevitability that there will need to have to replace that. So everything in its is moving forward, I guess. I'd like to say everything is moving forward.
Is the assumption that going forward, that the leach field is going to be on someone else's land and it's gonna have to be defined through a right of way?
It's currently on somebody else's land, as is everything behind at the literally back wall of the town hall. So that would mean theoretically the pump is on someone else's land. So we're trying to resolve that issue, the border issue, and that will be what we need to do. And hopefully can be done easily and quickly. So we're pleased so far. I think it will be very, very helpful to see exactly what kind of space this leach field is. I feel fairly ignorant about sizing and which way it turns. We can only take a guess, but once we know that, we would then have some sort of a situation that would allow the town, would have to allow the town to maintain it. Especially the top of it, it would have to basically be weed whacked or mowed. It could be mowed, certainly, but we need to figure out where that is. So where moving forward is about the best we can say right now. And hopefully, as soon as we hear back and are able to put stakes, so we all and the neighbors can see exactly what we're looking at, that then we'd re-meet and try to resolve this issue.
What, Morgan, did you check Otter Creek or Tying Pond back years ago when they did the circling of everybody's leach field? Did that show anything?
Yeah, there's like a rough sketch, but it's of the whole village, not just specifically the town. So I think it gives us a rough idea. But I don't know how specific. When we met with the engineer, it sounded like they needed to identify exactly the 4 corners of the leach field in order to move forward with any type of boundary discussion or easements.
I didn't realize there were.
There is,
There's
and
a
it would
drawing.
show the leach field and then the wells, and then it gives you the big circle and how the circles overlap. And supposedly they came up with those by doing research back in, John, back in the 90s, wasn't it, when
That's
our
very
and my mom first started it?
And Stanton's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite.
Well, it would be good, it would probably, I can come down and we can look at those tomorrow, and if they illuminate anything,
It's in the same area.
again, you know, it would be us with a measuring tape, but I don't know, are there actually measurements and things like that on it? If there are, oh, yeah, we'll look at that. Thank you, Kim.
Did they not do that same study, which was done a few years ago? Did they have the
They
same
did
mapping?
not, as far as I know, their mapping did not show the overlapping. We referred back when water study with Suzanne and all, we used the old maps that showed all the circles, how they overlapped. That became where we started wanting to test the drilling on.
So when you say these overlapping circles, it would be the town hall leach field and the Alexander's leach field and
And where.
Foundation.
It's located. circumference of how you.
Well, that would be,
should within
yeah.
100 feet, but everybody's kind of, all their circles are over top of each other.
Shows where septic tanks are.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, well, let's look at that and then maybe we don't have to get the guy back. If we can get a decent understanding and get a long tape and see if we can sort this out with,
And I can say that overall, the meeting we had was very good.
that was with the,
Yeah.
with the engineer, yes, yes. And my meeting with the Alexanders went very well as well. And I thank them for their time.
I appreciate that. I just have a couple of quick questions. First of all, is it a shared leach field with the abutters, or is it strictly a town hall's leach field?
I think we think it's just the town hall's leach field.
Okay, and the other thing I was curious about, because I honestly don't know, is what process kicks in here in terms of the boundary discussions? I mean, I know we have a town administrator that gets involved in property disputes. I know we have a development review board that sometimes gets involved in property issues. Does any of that apply in this situation, or is this a select board responsibility only? I'd just love to know how that works.
At this juncture, we were just trying to get, together and see a path forward. I don't know if, I can't answer that, but I certainly listen to anybody. If it has to go to a review board, if we had a boundary, a change in the boundary, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
If it was to be a boundary line adjustment, yeah, it would go to.
Right.
Before the administrative officer.
Right.
Necessarily hearing for the
Right.
DRB.
If the boundary line is less than 1 acre, then it's just the administrative officer.
That's helpful, because this is well less than 1 acre.
Exactly, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the boundary line is right outside this building.
I mean,
It just touches the building.
And I trust that
And we can't,
the town septic is under the same pumping ordinance as everybody. So that's what keeps our leach field safe.
oh, of course, yeah.
And so
No, and that's everybody's best, that,
pride investor is in the life of a leach field, but I do know that these leach fields are essentially hundreds of years old and
Yeah.
they survive because of the pumping ordinance.
right, no, that there's not all of us were in agreement how important it is to keep these.
Yeah.
In good health.
But to clarify, for this my purpose, the distinction between a boundary line adjustment and a right of way defines who gets involved. Is that
I
I don't know about the right of way.
right away, I think they talked about getting specific types of permitting. Either a short one, or then you can get a permanent one. So they're kind of pushing us towards a permanent easement. If it happens that we have to do a new positioning of the leach field. So that was explained too, but it's all in the future. We just don't know. It's a big if right now.
I mean, ideally, yeah, we need to resolve it so that we can maintain the septic.
Mhm.
And B, we're obviously in agreement with our neighbors that own the land, and unfortunately, that their plot plan hasn't changed through 2 sales. The people that they bought it from, they had no new plot plan from the family that owned it, my understanding, for a lot of years, like
70 years.
70 or something, really old. I mean, long time. So it didn't come up the previous owner was short-term. Am I right in
Right.
thinking that? And then when the Alexanders moved in 2021 or 2, I'm not sure exactly that, and their plot plan, I have it, there's nothing indicating it at all.
Dorothy Miller owned it way back when.
That's who it was.
And then, there was nothing written in there about the septic, but then the Cobles bought it and they had it for many, many years. And the Cobles did give us an easement for the septic, but they still own the property, so an easement is just permission. Whereas ownership would be a boundary line adjustment.
Right, and there's nothing documented, I don't think, about the easement or anything, so. We're making progress, and I think the best part of it will be able to put those stakes in that they can see. It's deep, I mean, you get in there and we're all invisible, I mean, it's deep in there. So we need to make it, it's not just a little 3-foot stake, it's gotta be something tall. I think I'll donate my old fluorescent driveway stakes. Travis, you and me, we're going out there banging stakes. And that's all I have to report on that.
Thank you, Anna. We all set with any questions for Anna? You all set, Suzanne?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sustainability study, meeting is July 30th at the Grafton Elementary School with the Athens Select Board, the Grafton Select Board, and the Grafton Athens School Board. At our last meeting, we had a special meeting of the school board last week. And there was a discussion on, there will be an agenda for this meeting on July 30th. I haven't seen it yet, but I know Nicole Barnett, who's the secretary for the superintendent's office. She's really good about putting that out. So we'll have an idea what the agenda is all about. In the meantime, we did have to have a special meeting for the school board. Discussion around, the fact that the principal of the school has resigned and had taken another position at another school. So it's forced the school board to, get a replacement. And the superintendent, discussed at length the different options, that the school has to have a replacement. And unfortunately, none of the teachers that are serving at the school now is certified to be administrator. And if they were, it would be a 2-year program. And we have 0.6 full-time, teachers. And because it's a 0.6, you have to have a principal for that length of time. If you had a teaching principal, again, they don't have the administrative background or the certification. It would come under the superintendent's certification. And there's a lot of liability for that. And you'd have to have hired another teacher to teach those classes. Well, that teacher, if she was certified, would be the teaching principal. So actually, Grafton lucked out because Heather Willis Doxey will be the interim principal. She was teacher and an educator for all the teachers in the whole district who just resigned here probably a couple of months ago as they were moving down south and they didn't sell their house. And he did an extensive search of the people in the school who could be, have a certification, and her name came up. She was the only one. She also has a certification in special ed, and the school needs, because that special ed educator had resigned during the year. So she'll have 2 roles, principal and special ed. With that, he's also has on August 12th, which is going to be the community forum. There will be at 5 o'clock a meet and greet to meet the new principal prior to the meeting, for the community. In that meeting, to meet and greet is 5 p.m. Followed by the community forum. So that's the kind of new information I have under the sustainability study. The sustainability study is still going on, even though, we've lost our principal. The major factor was if we did not have a principal in place, that would mean immediate closure of the school. We did not want to do that because that means all of the teachers, the staff, the custodians, the paras would have no jobs. So that's what I have. Good news, bad news, kind of. For us, it was good news.
Yeah.
We did. So that's what I have.
Thank you. I will ask, is the meeting on the 30th, will it be on Zoom?
I think it's gonna be in person, but I can check that out.
I'm just.
I almost think it's going to be, but
Where is it?
Grafton Elementary School.
Okay. Oh, it says it right there. Oh my glasses.
And I don't have my notes on that.
That's,
I know it's listed as in person.
okay.
Suzanne, you might know, you were there.
Are you away?
Yeah, we're leaving that day,
Okay, I'm sure it would be easy enough for us to coordinate a Zoom then.
but I don't, it's not, I mean, I'll do my best.
I'm gonna check
I'm
with
not
Nicole.
positive. I'm
Check with
not,
Nicole. She usually puts the link there, but
if it's,
I know it
yes,
was
I'll
for
try.
board members
I
only,
promise.
but it is public. They can listen in.
Yeah.
Um,
Check with her.
I'll do my best. I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee service, so.
Okay.
any other business? Public comment. Tim,
I just wanna let the board know that Tuesday I have no coverage, I have a vacation planned and Michelle can't cover me, nor can my assistant Wendy, so. I'm closing the office on Tuesday, the 28th. And formally open it on the website, for the downstairs, and we'll post a sign up,
I will be in the office all day today.
yeah, mine will be, yeah.
so you off the whole week or?
I'm off this Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday next week, and then I'll be back in the office Thursday.
She has coverage for those other days.
Oh, okay.
Michelle's gonna be there on Thursday, Friday this week. That's not Tuesday.
And
Oh, sorry.
just
Yeah.
wondering, we have some pending items, and I'm just wondering
Yeah, I think you could.
about plans for getting those on the agenda in the future, such as the drainage pipe and the short-term rental, some of those things that are out there.
I know the short-term rentals on the agenda for next time. And setting the dates,
Setting voting dates.
voting dates, we did have I did have a meeting, we did have a meeting with, about the drain pipe. Travis, you did a fix, yep. And, I think Morgan's gonna be sending out to the homeowner a letter.
Yeah.
And we were in touch with, the foundation and we were in touch with our lawyer, so. All good.
Is there a map anywhere that shows where that drain runs?
Yep, I've got one. I can send you one. I have a copy downstairs.
No, Kathy, it sounds like you did some really good work on that, and I think it might be helpful to consider that public information. And just give a report on it at some point.
I just
You
did,
don't have to do that now.
I just gave you a short report.
Well, and I'm just thinking if it's on the
Thank you.
agenda, posting people.
There's still some legal stuff that, between
Oh, okay.
lawyers will happen.
Okay.
And
That's all I can say at this point. Anything else? If not, next meeting is August 3rd. At 6 p.m. here at the town hall. So I need a motion for adjournment.
Second,
Okay, everybody have a great evening. Thanks. And remember, the board has a meeting tomorrow. They're available.
Recording stop.
Thank you for watching this Fact TV presentation. If you would like a digital or DVD copy of the meeting, please contact us by phone or email. Our phone number is 802-463-1613 or email us at fact810@gmail.com. Falls Area Community Television, keeping government honest.